Coming at you with another episode from
Liberty Tree.
What's
up?
All right, let's jump into it. So today we're talking layoffs, right, Lens?
It's gonna get a little more than that.
Okay.
Okay, but I'm actually not gonna wear this because it's hot.
Okay.
But that was all just like for the intro, though.
Not this. I'm keeping it.
Okay.
All right.
That was hot, but it's really soft, and I never get to wear it, so like, gotta wear it.
Let's jump in.
Okay. Maybe y'all can help me with this because I don't really know the answer to it, but we've been driving around and pretty much since 2019 I've been like vacant for lease. And I'm like, how the F can they keep going?
For sale.
Some are starting to.
Right.
Finally. To lead up to this, there's something that's growing in the market, and I've seen like this is John Williams. I've seen
Michael Bordenaro.
They've
right?
talked about it. I think Woo Woo a little bit. He's done like reaction videos to
Jack
it.
Morgan.
So a few of these guys have touched on it, but this specific topic I have yet to see anybody touch on.
Mm-hmm.
And so layoffs are increasing, right? I mean,
Yes. I saw an article this week. 27,000 job cuts.
So that's just in August.
Right.
What about, did you say there was one from just this week alone?
Highest in January. Goldman Sachs investment bank to cut nearly 1,800 jobs. So that's their plans.
So that's just Goldman Sachs. So like
forward.
in August there was 27,000.
Mm-hmm.
This week from just Goldman Sachs is 1,800.
And they bumped it up. It was 13. Now it's 18.
So you're seeing a lot of these layoffs, and I've seen a lot of people cover that.
Mm-hmm.
But as you mentioned in our last video,
Mm-hmm.
you said 99% of small businesses, or 99% of America is small businesses.
Right.
Which you confirmed it's actually...
It is true. It's actually even higher. They said it's like 99.8, 99.9. So almost all businesses. What defines that? Well, one of the parameters is 500 or less employees.
Okay.
So
now what you need to know about that is these companies, they require something that's called a WARN notice. If you don't know what a WARN notice is, it's basically, I think it's a federal law, and each state has it individually, where companies with over 500 employees, I think it's actually, the WARN notice is over 100 employees, you have to put in a WARN notice to your local government. I don't know if it's city or state, you'll have to look that up yourself. But basically, they have to let the government know when they're going to be doing layoffs in mass. I think it's like over a certain percent of your company, if you're like closing it. So if it's like 100%, I think it's like over 50%. And then if it's over a certain amount of employees, so like a number.
Why is that important?
And it's important because they need to brace for unemployment claims. So if it like all of a sudden is coming in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days down the pipeline, they need to make sure they have the funding and resources. They're ready for unemployment if it's going to like spike. Okay. Also, it can give a feedback loop back to like the Fed and things like that.
So there might be some overlap between businesses that are 100 to 500 that are in that WARN notice range.
Exactly.
So technically small business.
Yeah.
But also less or more than 100.
So then I was like, okay, well, what percentage of businesses are less than 100 employees? Because if the WARN notice has to be 100 employees or more, anybody who has 100 employees or less does not need to tell the government, right?
So most of us won't know.
So most of us won't know. You won't get...
Unless maybe you hear about it from your neighbor.
Or you see it.
Right.
But you won't... It's not going to hit the headlines, right? So when you look that up, that is 98% of all businesses. So 98% of all business layoffs, closures, anything like that isn't going to hit the news, the media. It's not going to hit it. The government's not even going to know because they don't have to tell them. Mm-hmm. So when you're getting these layoff numbers, this is the tip of the iceberg. This is just for the big hitters. Mm-hmm. This has nothing to do with the mom and pop ice cream shop down the street or the stationary store that closed. Right. You're not going to see that. And that's maybe only 5 employees or 10 employees, but that's 98% of all businesses in America. Like, that's insane. So 98, like, do you know how bad that would obliterate our economy if that just went away? Like, that's insane. And it won't ever hit the mainstream news. Mm-hmm. So then...
Quiet killer.
It's a killer. Mm-hmm. So you've got that compounding with these big hitter layoffs, right? And then the next thing that we heard about is, well, this ties into Goldman Sachs. There's a ton of bank layoffs and bank branches that are closing.
Right.
Apparently there's some new thing on TikTok that's like the infinite money trick or something.
You might have seen it over the weekend.
I don't know. I didn't watch it. But what I do know is it got me thinking about this, that I guess branches are starting to close and it's just like chaos. Well, if these branches close, one of the largest things that I have personally seen, and you probably have noticed this as well, I don't know if y'all have seen this, is when I'm driving around outside of the small businesses, it's the big ones, Chipotle, McDonald's, and banks. That's a big retail person that's in a lot of these big buildings. Is in commercials, not retail, commercial retail. When you go to small towns or downtown, they hold huge commercial leases. So if small businesses are closing and we don't know about it, and there's layoffs happening for these big ones, and then banks are closing branches, who's going to pay the commercial real estate rent? Not to mention, like, a lot of this was already vacant anyways, and it's been for lease. I've heard that every, like, at 4 years or something, they all have to renew, or, like, a bunch of these commercial places have to renew at this point.
So if they renew their outstanding debt.
Yeah, I guess it roll over and they have to refinance it, because I guess commercial, I mean, maybe Jason and Mitch with Real Estate Mindset, you guys are doing a fantastic job. Maybe y'all can explain to me how this works. Explain to us, like, how the renewal process works, how it's different.
Why does it feel so delayed?
Why is it so delayed? Like, how is it, like, offset with, like, their good real estate? Is it, like, what is going on? Because it feels like it already was vacant. And now small businesses that we're not even accounting for in the mainstream media, in addition to large companies, in addition to branch closings, it's like this compounding issue on commercial.
I might have a speculation.
Okay.
Perhaps these portfolios are so big, and if you are in the industry and you'd like to provide some commentary, I would love it. But maybe these portfolios are so big that they're good real estate, and much of it that they bought so long ago is still doing so well compared to maybe some of the recent real estate.
How could it be good if it's vacant? Just because it's cheap to carry?
Maybe the ones that aren't vacant.
Yeah, but
are holding up the bad real estate.
I mean,
I don't know.
Again, I would agree with you if I thought we lived in a time of responsible investors where they would like, okay, my good real estate I bought that long ago, pay it off.
Right.
I don't think that's the case. From my short-term time that I worked at a real estate investment company, they take the money from these commercial properties, refinance, take out all the cash, and buy another one.
Yeah.
This is a house of cards. There's no good real estate because they refinance it.
Well,
so what good real estate?
Right.
I mean, not to say none, but most of these guys think they're brilliant by refinancing it and taking it out and getting the next one. And I'm like, it seems like a house of cards in my opinion, because it's like, yeah, you had good real estate, but then you took the guts out of it and put it in another one. You have these hollow investments that nobody wants or nobody's utilizing. I mean, people want them if they could do them themselves. Like, I would want one, but I don't want to pay you to fix up your shit. Well, I mean, that's the other thing. You and I, when we got here, went to go and we're like, this is all vacant. These are so shitty. It should be so cheap to get into this. And a little shoebox hole in the wall was like $3,000 a month. And I'm like, the foot traffic, the cash flow, nothing checks out. Sitting vacant a year later, just since we've been here, still sitting vacant. And their rates are the same. They have not budged at all. And it's like, you'd think it would be like, okay, let's at least get somebody in there. I need somebody to explain this to me. I don't know if my peasant little money brain can't understand, but I just don't understand how some money isn't better than no money. I don't get it.
Well, these layoffs that are being reported are the tip of the iceberg, but it's a start. And I think it could be very exponential.
Well, yeah, because you got in the background 98% unaccounted for. That's why it's exponential. Because at what point does the Fed go, oh my God, where did these layoffs like what? It's insane. Not to mention what percentage, I guarantee if you looked at another one, it's like what percentage of businesses have less than 5 employees or 10, you know, like 100, you go down to 50. It might be like 90% of them. So then you get smaller and smaller and it's like, well then how many of these businesses are sole props because they won't even get unemployment. So it would never go into your unemployment claim number because they can't.
Let us know what you're seeing or not seeing in your local town.
Please let me know because it's keeping me up at night. So I would really like to understand, how is the House of Cards still going?
All right. Until next time, guys. We'll see ya.